I'm Mario Van Peebles. You're watching and you're listening to hiphopwire.com.
hiphopwire.com here with the legendary film director, actor, everything.
Yeah.
Mario Van Peebles, how are you doing today?
I've been doing it for a minute.
You've been doing it for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, things fall apart. It's a movie. You got 50 Cent. You got yourself, Ray Lotto. Tell me what interested you in doing that movie.
Well, you know, when I initially met 50, I didn't know what to expect beyond the sort of press hype, and often people are different. And I met a real sharp, affable, focused, brother with a serious work ethic. And initially, I was just going to act in the movie. I was just like, he was talking to me about we're talking about the role, and I was going to do with the role. And then, after a couple of days, he asked me would I direct it, and I felt like Al Pacino. They keep pulling me back. Because my intent was just to do the easy stuff, sit in the chair, put on makeup, be an asshole. And then he asked me to direct it. And I really started to look at the script because we had to take a break anyway because he had to lose a lot of weight. So initially he had, he weighs like 214, I guess, 216, whatever. And he had to lose like 50 pounds. So I didn't know if he could do it because when I played Malcolm in Ali, I had to just lose 20 pounds, and that was killer, So I was like, man, you're going to lose 50 pounds. And next time I saw the brother, I was ready to direct him, and I called him 25 Cent. He lost so much weight. So when I saw him, we initially talked about this friend of his that passed away, and I saw the emotion and how it affected 50 clearly. And I thought, well, if we can get some of that on screen, that it would be a hell of a role for him.
And you spoke on playing Malcolm X and Ali and Carmichael. How do you prepare for roles of these African Americans who had such an impact on their culture?
Well, with Malcolm in particular, that was a really intense situation because my father had interviewed Malcolm when he was in France. So our dads knew each other, and then I was working with Malcolm's eldest daughter. So here I am working with Malcolm X's eldest daughter. My father knew her father, and my two daughters were playing his daughters. So one of my daughters was playing Miss Shabazz, Malcolm's daughter. So it was deep because there was like 3 generations of, Shabazz and 3 generations of Van Peebles, and it was deep. It was really interesting. There were times, when I watch Ali now with Will Smith, and I don't see myself. When I look at it, I see someone different, so it was really going into a different character, almost more like channeling. And I think I found the same thing when I played my father in Badass, where I don't see Mario in it. I just was like, I had a lot of time to study my role, obviously, in that case. But so there are times when you go so deep into a different character that you leave elements of yourself at the door. And I think we did that. And I think in some ways 50 did that with this movie.
And speaking of your father, he did a lot to make sure that his movies, he had to deal with a lot to make sure his movies got out. And he was probably the first premier black film director to do that. Do you feel like you get any kind of backlash because of that?
No, not really. I mean, people usually come at the legacy of my dad with a lot of respect, more often than not. And also where the world has gone, when my father did Sweetback, you had to be a bad brother to get paid and, make it happen. And he was dealing and directing people of all colors. And, he understood the value of not just playing basketball, but knowing how to own the team. So he made sure that I would grow up knowing how to not only act in a movie, but direct it and produce it and write it and help distribute it and understand the business side of show business. So many of us don't. So many of us get, caught in that trick bag of, I'm just going to be the artist, and we don't understand the business aspect of it. So mostly people come at it with respect, when they're talking about my father. But my father's a funny dude. He's a bright dude. He gets the joke of life. He doesn't take it too seriously. The other day he got this award And Sidney Poitier presented the award to him, and I was at the function. And my dad got up and got ready to do his speech. He said, man, hell with it. I didn't come this far not to have fun. Turn the music up, let's dance. And he got Poitier to dance with him. You know, that's my father, you know. So rather than a big sort of heavy, you know, speech that you'd expect from that icon, he said, let's dance, man. Let's have fun. Let's have fun. And he and Sidney did it, and I got up with them, and Wayans brothers got up, and Townsend got up. And it was lovely, man. It was real cool.
Now, as a director, with all this feud going on with Spike and Tyler, do you ever feel like there is a way that you have to portray black people in a positive manner? Do you feel any pressure towards that?
None whatsoever. Because I see us that way. It'd be different if look, here's the deal. It's like, if you watch Jackass 1, 2, and 3, white folks can make some stupid-ass movies. Now, I'm sure that the white folks making those stupid-ass movies don't necessarily intend to say that all white folks are that stupid. But if those were the only movies getting love, they would put a lot of pressure on the cats making Jackass to do something different. And, Tyler's stuff, hey, I mean, it is what it is. It's not my taste. It's definitely not Spike's taste, But I feel that the tragedy is not so much that Tyler's doing what he's doing. It's that we're not seeing enough of other work that shows us in a different light, that shows us as thinking. It's not that, imagine if you only have one thing on the menu and it's heart attack fried chicken. You eat that every day, you're gonna die. If you eat a diet of potato chips every day and that's all you eat, you're gonna die. And if you go to the movie and all you see is a diet of potato chips and you see us clowning and buffooning, eventually, what's that going to do to us? So we definitely need to see us not, being silly and ignorant. We definitely need to see us. I'll give you a point. Check out Cosby. Cosby was able to be funny, but in a way that uplifted us, right? And I'm not saying that. I'm not judging anybody's work. I'm not saying Tyler is or is not, or Spike is or is not. I happen to be a fan of Spike's. That's more my thing, right? But that every filmmaker is different, like every human being is different. But so Cosby had fun with us and taught us to laugh at ourselves as Americans, not just black Americans. Well, check the importance of that. The generation that grew up watching Cosby and made him America's funniest father was the same generation 20 years later that could vote the Obamas into the White House. That's heavy. When apartheid fell in South Africa, what were they watching? You know what they were watching? Their favorite TV shows? Miami Vice and The Cosby Show. Miami Vice showing a white leading man and a black leading man together, and The Cosby Show. So people seeing us as smart and funny and intelligent is a good thing. People just seeing us clowning and being assholes or being ignorant is not such a good thing. If you just, like I said, if you just watch Jerry Springer all day long, and whether it's black or white, after a while, you can be, damn, are all people that crazy? So it's not, I think we gotta, part of the dilemma is that we don't have enough representation to make that okay. But it's unfair to come to Tyler. It would be unfair to come to the people that do Jackass and just say, well, you got to change your stuff up because you're inadvertently representing all of us. It's hard to do that to someone who's saying, well, this is my vision, and I can't tell him what his vision is. It ain't my vision. I don't necessarily agree with that vision, but the damage is that it's the only vision we're seeing a lot of. And Hollywood tends to do that with us. It's like, well, we're just going to let one or two black Negroes through, so we're going to take him because he's making money, and we're going to take this other guy here, and that's about it. And that's unfortunate because there's a lot of great stories, and we're smart. We're the Panthers. We're Malcolm. We're in the West. We're silly. We're buffoons. We're coons. We're presidents. We're the top of the top and the worst of the worst. We're all of it, and we need to see the whole diversity. That's a long ass answer, but there you go. I'm Mario Van Peebles. You're watching and you're listening to hiphopwire.com.